What is going on, YouTube? Carter here. Got an unboxing for you. This is a knife unboxing. So right off the bat, if you don't like knives, you probably won't like this. If you don't like World War I, World War II military knives, probably won't like this. But if you do like those things, I don't know, maybe you want to see it. So for this unboxing, we are going to use the Riot Augustus Kirby Lambert design. I might do a full video on this. I don't know. It depends. Who knows? Who knows what I'm going to do? I don't know what I'm going to do. So let's get started opening this box. I'm trying to figure out best way to open it without showing all my personal information because I did not block it out. And so I don't know how I'm going to do this. I should have mapped it out beforehand, I guess. So we have a seam right here. Let's go in this way. See if we can get in. All right, here we go. So this is from Windlass Cutlery. It's actually my first item from them ever. So we'll see if I like it. I don't know, but this is definitely a cool kind of knife. With the main reason, nicely packaged, I will say. And I'll include down below, wow, that's interesting. I've never seen that before. I'll include down below who I got this from, you know, in case you're interested in checking it out. You can go there for that information. So we are working our way through this package. Sorry if some of this is out of screen. I've set the camera a little bit higher than I normally would, just so that I can get everything. Here we go. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. This sucker is oily. Look at that. So already you can kind of see what we're looking at here. Okay, cool. We got some rust on there. That's awesome. Love to see that. Very impressive. This thing is disgusting. Actually, maybe that's not, yeah, that looks like rust. Although I don't see how it could be rust because it's supposed to be brass. So, yeah, interesting. Definitely a little lackluster on the packaging. I was expecting a little bit more on that front. I can smell the oil. You can see right there that does look like rust, even though this is supposed to be brass. So it shouldn't be rusting. So I don't know. I'll have to look at that, see what's going on. But high level, this is a early trench knife. It's only one of two knives, I believe, that were actually issued to the U.S. military. I think it came about the end of World War I or the start of World War II, somewhere around there. And basically they took all of the current knives that they had issued and came up with what they thought was the best knife. Now, what drew me to getting one of these is because it kind of has a ridiculous kind of look to it, right? How it has these brass knuckles right there, which seems like this is a fake fantasy type blade, but this was actually issued to military personnel and used. A lot of thought went behind making this and all of these things. This particular version of this knife, despite the disgusting quality out of the box, most of this is oil, grease, crystallized like grease. The aforementioned rust thing going on, I'm not quite sure what that is. I'll have to look at that closer. It can't be rust. But the reason I went with this knife, this is, despite, you know, the condition of my initial comments, this is one of the higher end versions you can get. I know Les George makes like a custom version of this knife, which is very, very cool. But in terms of kind of production knives, this is the most expensive and most accurate. You can see the marking there, US 1918. So it comes with the metal sheath right here, as you can see, just like it would have with the belt loop on there. And then the other unfortunate thing about this particular knife is it's completely dull. By design, well, not by design, but by intention, it's completely dull. And I gotta say, I'm actually very disappointed with that too, because when it said dull, I didn't realize that it meant, I mean, this literally has a ledge on it. So this isn't, I thought this was something that I could put on a whetstone and sharpen up, but it like literally has not even remotely a serviceable edge at all. So yeah, that's kind of a bummer. In fact, I'd say overall I'm a little bit bummed, but because yeah, I mean, this is, I'm gonna have to put this on a belt. Like, it has no semblance of any kind of edge at all. I just assumed that it wasn't sharp out of the box, you know, that it had kind of a dulled edge, but this has absolutely no bevel whatsoever on it, so it's completely useless. I thought I could, like I said, I thought I could maybe whetstone it and get an edge on it, but there's nothing there. This needs material, significant material to be removed for this to be usable. But anyways, back to the knife. So it is solid, at least. So they did recreate it in terms of solid brass handle here. This is solid brass, carbon steel blade, and then it's coated or blued black, just as the original would have been issued. So a lot of the examples that you see, real examples of this knife, has a lot of wear on it, and you can kind of make out that this is brass, you make out that this is steel. But when they're originally issued, this is how they came, kind of blackened with a coating on them to help prevent against rust and tarnish and things like that. Also has a glass breaker, skull crusher right there. I mean, let's be honest, in this particular usage, it was a skull crusher. It was a blunt tool. This was not put on there to break glass to rescue people. This was meant to crush your opponent's skull right there. It was meant to punch and, of course, stab. It was primarily a thrusting tool. However, they did have an actual usable edge, unlike this one on the original item. Now, the reason these come dull is just due to logistic reasons. These are made overseas, and so importation becomes a lot easier. You don't have to worry about where this goes or doesn't go when you send them out dull like this. I just wasn't expecting it to be literally unfinished. I just thought, you know, I thought it would be on the dull side, because you can, I don't know if you can see on camera, but you can see, I mean, it's it's a good 1/16 of an inch flat right there. I mean, it's not even, yeah, it completely does not have any sort of edge on it. So yeah, anyway, so that's a quick look at this trench knife, U.S. military trench knife. I'll include some information in the description box for some more specific history on this knife, as well as where I got it. And I don't know, I hope I don't leave too bad of an impression on these. It's one of the reasons I don't like doing unboxings, is it's difficult to do, you know. You see things and it kind of throws you off, and you might dwell on it and you might not be clear, and it's absolutely disgustingly filthy, more so than I thought. So yeah, I'll get it cleaned up, think about it a little bit more, think about this edge, what I'm going to do with it, and maybe I'll come back with a more constructive, in-depth review of this knife. But at the end of the day, it's still kind of cool to have as a little piece of history on something that you wouldn't think, looking at this, you wouldn't think that this is a real knife that would have been issued to our military, but it in fact was. All right, guys, catch you later.